Embrace diversity. Unite or be divided, robbed, ruled, killed by those who see you as prey. Embrace diversity or be destroyed. I'm your host, Melanie.
And I'm Tiffany.
And we are two outdoorsy bookish baldies.
And this is Words in the Wild.
Welcome back to your favorite podcast that you love and hate.
No, what? No one hates it.
No, you all love it. We love you. I love you.
You love to see it.
Yes, it is another episode of Words in the Wild. And today we got the goat. Yes, we got the goat. So I gotta play a little black story. No, a little black
story.
I mean, literally.
a little backstory. So I was out in the wild, y'all, because y'all know I don't be leaving the house in the winter, especially after inches and inches of snow. But I did, and I left the house, and wouldn't you know it, I discovered another person reading Parable of the Sower.
Wow.
And not only is it another person, it's a climber. So today we actually are bringing in a book-loving, climb-loving guest to join us in the discussion of Parable of the Sower. We're introducing Marian Perez. It's always so weird with audio. Like, I don't know how to be more expressive. Maybe I need to get a sound effects button.
It's perfect.
But yes, so May is a homie. I know May in a lot of ways. A lot of different ways. But to me, at the root of it, May is one of the biggest advocates for diversifying climbing and the outdoor industry, and really just making the space feel safe and accessible, and someone that I respect and look up to and love and appreciate for the work that they do. I, feel like a minion in this space. And so just having somebody to look up to, and also an incredible guide, I think the biggest thing for me is when I started climbing, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was paying that companies whose name we don't say on this podcast. If you listened last year, you all get the joke. But if you don't, you don't. I used to pay that company to take me climbing, and it was like $300+ every time I wanted to go out climbing. And I did it like 2 or 3 times. And so, what I really love is that, in my opinion, nothing that ever existed is that May was on the forefront of starting an organization that was all about making guiding accessible and making opportunities for folks who don't normally get to or can't afford to pay for guide services to go out and experience climbing in the best way, in my opinion, possible. So anyway,
and folks who want to become guides, and
yes,
Black, brown, and queer folks who actually want to become guides. So
yes. So with all that being said, please check out riseoutside.org. Look at the work they do. If you are in the New York area, if you are around the New York area, even if you're not, check out the work they do, support it, because you're really supporting people getting out on the wall that, like I said, ordinarily probably would have been supporting my ass if it existed back in the day, because Lord knows I was digging for pennies in the couch trying to get outside when I was y'all know when that climbing bug hits, it's like a drug, and you will go climbing by any means necessary. And some people, not me, will go climbing with anybody.
Folks just out here climbing with anybody these days.
But no, so like I said, riseoutside.org, trusted, super trusted nonprofit organization that's really doing the work. So thank you, May, for joining us today.
Thank you both for having me. I look up to both of you and love how you both have just accepted me in our community. And I think it's when Tiff was like, oh, we're doing this episode on Parable of the Sower, I'm like, oh my God, more people that are reading this book that's so relevant right now. And
oh my gosh,
I'm just excited to be here to talk to you all about it, because as you know, everything that you said about community, I really appreciate that. And I think it's like a bigger conversation, and how even with this book, it's so funny because you mentioned how this is I'm a book lover, and I am a book lover, but like I love books that are instructional. And like
Yes.
I read a lot of like things that I've like done in real life and then go back to a book and I'm like, oh, now I understand it. But like I've been listening to Parable of the Sower because my platonic life partner was like, hey, we want to like think about doing like homesteading and all this different stuff, and I think you should read this book because like things are happening that are very relatable to this book, and from a Black author who like basically told the future in a lot of ways. So I'm just excited to deep dive into it and talk about that stuff. And
Sounds like a plan. We gonna dive. We gonna dive all the way in, and it's getting real out here. Like, but before we get into the book, as we do, we like to dedicate a few moments to just check in on our wellness. We created this podcast as a way to improve our mental health, our emotional health, eventually our physical health when we can get outside. Because Melanie, no, I'm gonna be recording my episodes from the woods as soon as I can get out in these doors. But we just want to, see how everybody's soul is feeling on this fine day. May could probably speak for me too, because I don't have to say anything. May is a part of my lightness today.
Oh, that's so sweet. Wait, I want to hear
so
more about
you're so sweet, Tiff. Jeez.
I know, right?
I'm like, bless up. I'm moving to California on Monday.
Woo!
Yeah,
yes, get out of New York.
Well, it's so funny. It's so relatable to, again, the book and everything.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like, just like, yeah, moving to California during a moment that feels like crisis a little bit. Yeah, I feel my soul is like ready. I feel very ready. And like I'm trying not to let stress take over. I deal with depression and anxiety and ADHD, so I'm medicated, but also medicate recreationally with other things, and trying to actually stop doing that because I've been finding my brain to feel so clouded and crowded. So just trying to like keep it really calm and not trying to, and giving myself grace and realizing I don't have as much stuff as I thought. So I'm feeling very grateful, and people have been buying some of my stuff, which is great. So just, I don't have a job right now. So just applying for jobs, moving out west, picking up contractor gigs. It's like, and moving to a state that's really expensive is scary. And also God is change, right?
Yes.
And I like, oh man, I like can't wait to get all of these quotes like tattooed on my body. But like, I think after this, y'all should come to California and we should get Parable of the Sower tattoos. But
it's happening.
It's happening. But yeah, I think this book is I think I'm relating a lot to Earthseed, and Earthseed has actually helped me make this decision, actually, because I started reading this book a couple months ago before I found out that I wasn't going to have a job. So I've just been really trying to keep it chill and grieve, allowing myself to grieve, and also, yeah, just try to keep it together and really just be at peace and chaos where it needs to be. So things are falling into place, and it's okay to freak out, but spiraling, if it happens, it happens, but like trying to prevent spiraling a bit. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
And I haven't been getting outside, which is I actually was, that's a lie. I was at Adirondack Queer Ice Fest this past weekend, which was very sweet, and I got to belay folks, and I climbed one thing, which was great. But yeah, I've just been really chaotically not getting outside, and that I realize how much that's affecting it's affecting me in a way that like I have to make time to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to not be about work. It has to be for my own pleasure.
Yeah.
Even if it's standing outside, getting the sun on your face and taking deep breaths, like yeah.
And that's
Sorry,
the challenge when the outdoors becomes your work. It's like trying to find that line between, you know, professional recreation and personal recreation. And you have to create that line. Otherwise, you're just going to always teeter between it. And then you don't feel anything about either, other than it's just this performance.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And the complicated aspect of it too, of just, and I don't want to take up more time, but basically just like, I definitely use the outdoors as a way to avoid everything else going on in my life. So it's like, well, of course I have to be outside, because if I'm not outside, then I can't get better at the things I want to get better at. So all the personal things that have been, you know, giving me challenges, I've had to really, you know, avoid it by going outside. So now it's like, you know, I abused and used the outdoors, and I have to reclaim and restructure my relationship with it so that I know it's more like we're hanging out again. I'm not just extracting from you. I actually want to absorb the healing powers that you have instead of just avoiding everything. And the intention behind going outside is not just because I want to avoid everything else.
I want to share a thing I wrote. I've been writing. I've been trying to write. I told
We love that.
Melanie, I used to write.
Yeah. If you're
that
writing,
used to
you're
be a
writing.
thing.
You're not
But
trying to write, you're writing.
I wrote some words, and they kind of connect with what you just said. So it's not like a poem or anything. It's just my brain thinks
we love
things
a
and I write.
narrative.
Yeah, I'm just writing things
Oh my
down now.
God.
Just
But
write
I wrote.
shit.
Are these amendments to Earthseed?
A little bit. I think this could be in volume 2. The book of Tiffany. So, but I wrote, the outdoors can be healing, but they can't heal you. And so, you know, because when I think about how I use the space of like, this is my therapy, this is my, you know, it can be, but having the expectation that it's going to be this magic savior is not realistic. So on that note, Melanie, how it go?
It's going okay. I loved everything that you said, May. Like it all resonated. Like, I don't know. There was just something. I loved how you expressed how you were doing. And like just how, I don't know, like it, like, I don't know. I felt really seen in a lot of what you were saying. And I loved how you like drew connections to the book, because I was like, wow, that's so interesting. Like it's like it's like, I think it's salient and relevant to like our time, but I think it's cool how immediately salient and relevant it is to some of the things that you're going through. And just in general, like you mentioned like being without a job and just like a lot of kind of scary changes happening. And I am not I'm not moving immediately. This is something Tiff and I talked about, but I think it's something that might be on the horizon. But I too am without a job, fun employed.
Yeah,
yeah. This is a trifecta. We officially.
I know. Should we just like do this full time?
We're just all fun employed right now, which should not be ironic considering we know statistically last year 300,000.
Yeah.
Laid off. So, all right.
Yeah. No, but it's up in the air. I don't know. I have a couple of places I want to be. North Carolina is probably at the top of my list, but I have like other places that I've considered too. But I think it was something that was much more imminent before I got laid off. But you know, moving costs money, and I think I'm like right now in a place of like, it's not even so much the money. I mean, that's definitely a thing, but more than that, it's like I just feel like, I don't know. There feels like a lot of like chaos and like I don't know. I am trying to like, I think I just feel like I need to sit still for a second, you know? Like I'm just like there's a lot going on and like I'm just trying to like take in information and I know that like change is happening. Like it just literally is constant. But I think like before I like can take the step, I need to like just sit down and be settled and like let information like just take in information and then kind of like make a decision based on that. So I'm in this period of flux and transition also. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm doing okay in the face of all of that, and just trying to like create peace through healthy routines, trying to like give myself a little bit of time before I like dive back into the job hunt. So yeah, yeah. Right now, I just am, I guess.
Period.
But yeah, that's me. That's where I'm at.
Definitely
Ta-da!
resonate with the stillness part.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you for realizing that because I feel like a lot of people, like, I went the opposite direction, but like, I think it was like a calling,
Mhm.
or like, oh, if I have to change everything about my life, then I might as, or if I have to change things so suddenly, I might as well make a big
I'm
change.
going all in. Yeah.
And like, that's so valid too, to be like, I'm like really excited to actually be still for a while to like, okay, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, that could be hard. So
Mm-hmm.
good for you for
Yeah.
realizing
Word.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Same though. Honestly, like I feel like it's all about just like where you're at and like knowing what you need. And I think that it's cool that you're like embracing so many changes at once and like just diving into it. Like I don't know. I feel like both are like equally valid and I admire like your bravery because I know that that amount of change at once can be really scary too. So yeah, shout out to us. Yay.
Go.
Yeah. I guess let's just get into it. So we started the set of chapters that we read started in 2027. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So we're covering chapters 14 through 19.
14. Chapters
Or-
14
Talking
through
is optional this
19.
week, y'all. Like words.
It's because I'm here. Mel's getting nervous.
We're
Why
all
am
flustered.
I so nervous? Okay. No. We're talking about chapters 14. God damn it. 14 through 19.
What's happening over there? What's in that cup?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so it's July 2027. I think in the past few chapters before this, Lauren was like getting her affairs in order, like really trying to take seriously the fact that like things are coming to an end. Her brother died, her dad disappeared, he's presumed to be dead. And so she's like, things are going down. Like, we need to like
Get ready.
stuff in place.
Yeah.
And then the day comes. Day comes and it's like pyro addicts raided their community. They burned it down. And the day that Lauren has been planning for, it happens, it comes, and she gets out of there. She escapes.
She got that go bag though.
She got her go bag.
She was prepared. People thought she was crazy.
Yeah, but she had
her best
stuff.
friend thought she was crazy.
I know. Yeah. But she got her stuff and she leaves and she thinks that maybe Corey and her brothers escaped, but they have been separated. And when she gets back home, she feels obligated to kind of go look for them. So she heads back home to try to find her family and get information on what maybe is going on. At the same time, she's able to get her emergency funds. Like her family was prepared. Like she had like thousands of dollars under a lemon tree. But on the way out, after she leaves her house, her community, it's like burned down and like falling apart.
Yeah, she like leaves to hide, and then she's like, I gotta go back.
Yeah. She goes back. She scavenges a few things. She manages to get her money, and after
the whole town is being scavenged at this point.
Yeah. She's like running past her neighbors, and like they're like deceased, like they're on the ground, like it's like that seems so scary. Like to just I
Totally.
can't imagine like just I don't know, like what does that feel like to go back to your home and like not only not know where people are, but to see it like in ruins. Um but ends up running into two of her neighbors who are still alive, Zara and Harry. And then they tell her that her family is dead. And so she,
And that they watched it happen.
Right. So it's
Or
not even like with her dad. Yeah, they saw
Right.
it. Or Zara
Yeah.
saw it. Yeah.
Zara, I think, was the one that saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, Zara was being attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she saw it.
Yeah.
Although I'm not gonna lie, I maybe it's just like I don't want to believe.
Right.
But for some reason I
Well, we
don't
don't
believe
know.
it. I don't know, but I don't want to believe
Right?
it.
That her
No.
family's alive. You guys think that there's a chance that they might
I personally think at least one person. I just don't believe, because look,
I have feelings.
as a writer. No.
Yeah, as a writer,
if I were writing this book, there has to be one twist in which one of those family members somehow resurfaces. I'm not saying everybody just out here skipped into the Lewin, but I do feel like, and it may just be her dad. Like it may not even be her stepmom and her, brothers. I think it could just be, but I don't know. For some reason, something in my soul has a hard time. But well, when I was reading it, I don't know, Zara. I got feelings about Zara.
Ooh,
oh, she's a survivalist.
Yes, yes,
right,
yes,
and
she
like,
was, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. She been out, but I don't want to. I know we'll get into Zara's backstory, but all I'm saying is in this moment, in chapter 14 moment, I was a little sus of her, and I was like, I don't know, maybe she's just traumatized and she's just saying stuff. That's all.
Interesting.
Yeah, she could have I mean, with trauma, she could have maybe she has delusions or illusions, or maybe she thought it was someone that she knew and it wasn't, but like,
right,
you just don't. I have a feeling like they could be dead and that's it, but I also think that, like, as like from before, like, I think the mom was smart too. Like, she wasn't like she wasn't dumb. I don't want to say dumb. She wasn't like oblivious to the things that could happen. And she could have been thinking the safe thing, and they could have just fled to Olivar. Is that the place?
That's the place she wanted to go to, actually.
Yeah,
but
the mom,
dad
right?
didn't.
Right. So I think like maybe and her kids, she probably was like, F this, I'm gonna go, I'm not out here trying to do whatever, and I'm out here, I'm going to Olivar to live like the quote unquote like capitalistic society that everyone wants to go to because it's what they're used to.
It's safe. It offers safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like feel y'all though. Like I don't know what happened to her, to Corey and her brothers. Zara says that she knows what happened. I do feel like I don't know why. Like I agree though. Like I'm like somehow I just don't. I feel like baby Zara like was confused, or I don't know, but it like I just somehow I'm. That's interesting that we both read that and we're like, or that we all read that and we're like, nah. I don't know. I think they're still there, or there's more. So yeah, I don't know. That's really interesting.
Or like they're dead and that's it. This is how it happened, and I'm not talking about it. Or Zara had to kill them to survive.
Do you think?
I don't know, but she's a survivalist. So
yeah.
Wow.
And it's kill or be killed. I mean, in this chapter, even Lauren had to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Which kind of, like, I think deep down, like every chapter, it was always portrayed as Lauren is this obvious badass, like fearless. She's, I guess, tall and I don't even think Lauren presents masculine, but they kind of like play that up in a way of because she's the oldest and she gets to shoot the
She's kind
gun,
of tall, and
but they kind of just like gloss past her killing somebody,
Yeah,
at
they
the
didn't.
end.
They
who did she kill?
Yeah, they kind of talked about like her getting attacked,
She
and
got
then
attacked when she went back, I think, to the neighborhood, and somebody
Mhm.
tried to like come at her, and I don't know if it was
Oh yeah, and I think he had like his face painted green or something like
yeah,
that. I feel like
yeah,
I
it was one
remember
of
that.
the pyros. So it
Mm,
wasn't like she killed an innocent person per se, but I still
yeah,
think killing a person is different from shooting and having target practice
yeah.
oh
and
yeah,
even like shooting animals and whatever else that, her dad had them doing.
Especially for her because of her hyper empathy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
So
she kind of like grew up in that moment.
yeah.
It went from like hiding behind the shadow of her father, and then being portrayed as like not like the good kid, but like the kid that kind of followed what she was supposed to do, but also like had some rebellion towards her, because like she was telling people like we should be getting together and focusing on growing food, having a go bag, like all these different things, and everyone was like, no, you can't talk about that because it's like that couldn't happen,
real.
aka like we don't want to talk about it.
Right.
And then it was like foreshadowing,
Oh,
and she
yeah.
had to grow up. Like it was no longer like, oh, my dad is the one protecting us. It's like I have to protect myself. And like
Yeah.
it was a foreshadowing of like a lot of different things that like even her mom would say, or like or her stepmom, I guess, and all these other people that were in her life pre the painted faces coming in and the pyros coming in and burning everything down. Or they crashed into the gate. That's what it was. They crashed with a truck, and then like and that's how they got in. So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. No, okay, so like so she runs into Harry and Zara. In chapter 15, they decide to like all kind of basically form an alliance, and they end up traveling together, and they're heading north. Lauren's presenting herself as a man. One of the things that kind of came up for me, and I guess this kind of comes up in the next chapter too, so maybe I'll just like quickly kind of touch on that. But in chapter 16, like, they're all this like traveling band, they're meant to be kind of looking out for each other. And Harry's like really naive, like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, so
Yeah.
naive to like the dangers of life on the road. And I think he ends up maturing and evolving, because you kind of have to evolve pretty quickly. Like, you're not gonna last if you
Yeah.
maintain the same level of naivety that Harry had. But at least in the beginning, when they first kind of like head out, he's really innocent and he like wants to be helpful, but doesn't really realize
Right.
the dangers that he's putting himself and that their crew in when he does try to help. There's like a lot of friction between Lauren and Harry, because she is willing to kind of like be a bit more ruthless and do the really difficult things that she has to do in order to survive. And Harry at this point doesn't understand what it takes to survive. I feel like, and so yeah, I mean, like, he gets attacked at a certain point. Lauren has to kill somebody else to
Yeah.
protect him. And he just, at a certain point, she ends up telling him about her sharing, and he doesn't really trust her. He's like, so you managed to keep like your hyper empathy concealed for this long. Like, you must be a hell of an actor. So, he just has like, he's skeptical of her. He doesn't, I think there's just like an innocence and a naivety that makes him like really kind of mistrustful. And I guess like one of the things that kind of came up for me is this like idea, I guess, of trust in general. And like, I don't know, like, yeah, like how do you know when it's safe to trust? Like, they have to kind of put their trust in one another, because like, and it's risky, because like, I mean, Harry
Yeah.
knows, they know each other, but Harry's like, I'm learning a lot about you. Like,
And that's the
so
thing, they
yeah,
don't know each other.
right,
Like, think
yeah,
about it. We have
we
neighbors.
grew up in the same
Oh
neighborhood, yeah.
yeah.
Hell, we have friends, but you don't always
How
know
well do
people.
you?
Just because you know people don't mean you know people. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people who think they know me, they don't know me. You
Yeah.
know? And so the interesting thing that I found with the Harry, Zara, Lauren triangle is
Hmm.
that they all each kind of represent a different strength and weakness in a way, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Like Harry is, I came from a good life. I'm a white
I'm a white
man
boy.
and life is great. I don't have to
Right. Oh
worry.
my god.
I'm gonna be
So funny.
fine. And Lauren is like, I'm black, I'm a female, I'm not gonna be fine.
Right.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
point blank period. This is gonna be a problem,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And then you have Zara, who life ain't been fine. So she
Hmm.
know how quick life can just switch from
Hmm.
being fine to not fine. Like,
Hmm.
and so, a couple of things. I have two things that go to the point of what you said, Melanie. One of which is a quote. And it says, "It's no small thing to commit yourself to other people."
Mm.
And that just like hit
Mm.
for me so
Damn.
hard
Oh yeah.
because
Damn.
Damn. Can't relate at
Bars.
all.
Wow.
Bars.
I'm just saying, you
No,
get
for real.
played many times. It's
Oh
hard,
yeah.
right?
That's
But I
facts.
mean, but in this situation, and if we all put ourselves in this, God forbid, future situation, it's the survival of the fittest. Like you
Hmm.
can't trust people. And she said this in the context of not wanting to tell people about her sharing yet, and like
Hmm.
knowing that if if it came down to that last burger, they gonna punch her in the face or punch some each other, and so she could be disabled. Like she knows that they can use that
Mm.
against her,
Hmm.
and there could come a point in survival where any weakness can be somebody else's strength.
Hmm.
Mm.
So I think for me, I think that part was interesting. And then the only other thing I wanted to say was, the difference between Harry and Lauren is that Harry was like, "Oh, he wants to believe in the good. Everybody's good. We got to be good people. How are we so your dad was a pastor and preached all this thou shalt not kill." And she's like, "Bro, my dad taught me to shoot a gun because
Hmm.
he knew I was going to have to kill somebody." So, when we talk about Earthseed and this and what she's trying to develop is that there's that nuance of like, even the Bible had it. Like it can say, don't do this, but also
Oh
this,
yeah.
you know?
They've completely, like, if you actually understand the Bible, there's nothing in there that says hate queer or trans people that don't agree with like like shit like that.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
but sorry, Tiff, I didn't mean to.
No, no, no. That's all I wanted to, that was somewhat my main takeaways from
Hmm.
15 and 16 was really just like, Harry, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. He's so, rooted in taking
The
everything so
rules.
literally from the Bible.
Hmm.
And it's like, you ain't out here yet,
Right.
you
Well,
don't get it. You haven't lived a life outside of safety.
Mm.
And we know this is in 2027, but every decade, and Lauren talks about, like, learning history, every decade or there's always something that Black folks are going through that makes you
Yeah.
not feel safe. Like you just live a life of being on guard, and you haven't had to do that,
Yeah.
and now you out here and you're on the same level as me. Like you are not any better. Nobody's gonna treat you better than me because of the color of your skin, dude.
well, yeah. I think another thing is, maybe without it actually being said, is like you have Harry, who's like a man who maybe had some kind of role in making decisions. Here comes Lauren, who's like, I have more experience than you. I have a gun. You don't. Like,
Mm.
I know how to use a gun. I don't think Harry knows how to use a gun, right?
Mhm.
Because he's very much by this rule book of, well, I'm not going to kill someone, or like, I'm not going to touch a gun because I'm not trying to do that. And then here's Lauren being like, I'm a person of faith, and I still think that we have to do what we need to do to survive. And Harry is like, I disagree with that. And then not to mention like this like kind of love thing that's starting with Zara and Harry.
Lord have mercy.
Whereas like Harry is like, oh, I'm the man in this situation. I have to protect this person like Zara, who probably doesn't need protection because she knows how to be out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I also think it was like a interesting way of seeing like every time Harry had like an issue with, even when Lauren in chapter 15, like 16. Is it okay to talk about chapter 16?
Yeah.
You know, they watch someone get robbed, right? This elderly man get robbed, and like these teenagers just cutting, you know, and then Lauren being like, see, this is why we can't like trust anyone. But like Harry's still like, no, like, you know, we have to we can't just think people are gonna just do bad things. And Zara and Lauren are like, no, you need to be ready to defend yourself. And then all of a sudden, like, threatening men come to stare at Zara, and then Lauren's the one who like stops these guys because she shows that she has a gun. And like just being like, you're not gonna fucking touch my friend or like this person, and then they walk away. And then Lauren and Zara become closer because of that. And then that's when like Harry gets attacked, and then Lauren saves him again. And then like Harry's horrified.
It's ego.
And then it's his ego. And Lauren's like, dude, I am telling you, like, here's Earthseed so that you can see what I believe in. And like what I think is like what I think faith is and whatever else. And I think that's when he starts lightening up, because he realized that there is duality in all of this. Of like, it's not black and white. Nothing in life is black and white unless it's like consent, right? Like, but I think like he's learning how to trust people and understanding like whatever life he thought he was living before is no longer. And I think this is a good example of what people will realize. It's like when COVID hit, for example, and people, you know, want this idea of what used to be and wanting to live that same life after this huge we're not going back, but people can try as hard as they want to make that happen again, but it's never going to be the same, right? So I think for Lauren, it's like Lauren is growing and adapting and changing to what she needs to do to like, because she wants to be there, right?
And then you have to survive.
She wants to survive. And with Harry, he's like, oh, I want to be this like, you know, I want to be this like goody two shoes and like just have the, you know, benefit of the doubt for everyone. But it's like, that's no longer your life. And that is so hard for people to accept. And I think that's this is like a big overlying understanding of like, God is change.
Right.
So if you're not ready to make that change because shit is going down, like, God might not be there for you. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to do, or it doesn't have to do with God. It's just like people are going to take advantage of you. And if you want to be a part of our group, you got to get it the fuck together, because we're not going to be here if you're going to be like, if you're not going to look out for us. You might have to kill, if you're out in these streets, you might have to kill someone. And that's so, of course, no one wants to think about that. But here they are trying to survive. You got bitch ass Harry being like, I want to be the man, but I'm not going to do the thing that I need to do to make sure that everyone's okay. It's like, well, then it's no longer, I don't know. This also ties into like community, like that point of trust, and like what is community and how are you seeing community, and how are you taking care of the people around you that are there for you, you know?
Yeah, I feel like you broke down the intention kind of behind Earthseed so perfectly though. Like it's like right, like I don't know. I've been trying to like wrap my mind around this, but it like I think we were talking about this in one of the previous episodes, but like it almost kind of feels like right, God is change, like it isn't good or bad. It just is. And you have to be willing to adapt. And I don't know. That's so interesting because it is like an interesting conversation of like how do ethics and morals kind of like tie into like what we have to do for survival. But I think like right, ultimately like the conclusion that I've been coming to is like yeah, I don't know. It's like there's something like really empowering about this concept of God is change. You know, it's like, right, like we can't stop change from happening, but we can like recognize change. We can have foresight. We can plan to accommodate change. And like we can either like change with the times or we can like get steamrolled over. Like it's Darwinian out here, you know, like it is like very
Yeah.
much survival of the fittest. And
And it's
yeah, I don't know.
new. It's
Right.
new, right?
Mhm.
Like that's the thing. It's like moral and ethics
Mhm.
in our old society, like God
Yeah.
forbid this actually happens the way it's happening. Everything that we've learned in society about moral and ethics
Mhm.
does no longer applies
Right.
because
Yeah.
that is all made up for the system.
Hmm.
So if the system is you gotta fucking be out here and you might
Yeah.
have to kill some motherfucker because they're on drugs and they're gonna take everything you got
Yeah.
and you want to survive and you actually want to be alive for it,
Yeah.
morals and ethics of our old society do not
Don't even
come into
apply
play
in the new.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Survival and what it means to survive means that if someone's gonna attack you,
Mhm.
like law doesn't apply here.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
the police, I mean, we see this now, but it's like police are terrorizing people too in the book.
Mhm.
Like the police
Yeah.
aren't going to do anything for you. So it is a dog eat dog type of life. And like foraging and all these other skills that are very ancestral
Mhm.
that we don't learn anymore because we live in a capitalistic society. I think that's like a big idea that comes into mind for me, and
Mhm.
how like Harry and like Lauren are seeing these things kind of like Lauren's very ancestral to me, whereas
Mhm.
Harry is more like I grew up in capitalism. Like, well, I'm just an example. I grew up in this society, and this is how this society is, and I'm gonna just think about it this way. It's like, well, then you can't sit with us because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
no longer like valid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think
Yeah.
it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So 16 wraps up pretty much with her disclosing the sharing.
Mhm.
And then that jumps us into chapter 17, where I
Mm.
believe they had to move locations, right?
Um,
So
no, I
some
think they're still in the same spot, and that's when Harry and
yeah,
Zara
chapter
make love.
17 I wrote that they found a new spot to be at. And then they had to kill someone.
They might have migrated. They might
Yeah,
have
Oh yeah, they
migrated.
did.
they moved a little deeper in
Yes.
Yeah.
because they were a bit more exposed where they were.
And yeah, right. And so they actually end up like meeting a couple. Um
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're
and
following like couple like saw them. They kind of stuck together for a
yeah, well,
while.
so like Lauren ended up like I think they were at a water station and the couple almost got their water stolen and
Yeah,
Lori
I'm gonna
Yeah.
let
tripped up
you,
the dude.
Melanie, just go with the just break down all of
Do it.
17 and then we'll circle
Ooh.
back to because 17 is interesting. 17 is kind of, in my opinion, the beginning of the Earthseed movement.
Yes.
Mm.
So
You can
let's
see it.
yeah, this is when what I
Tiny
called
little
new
seeds.
characters are coming into play.
Yes.
I think I said in a previous episode that there were a lot of characters and I couldn't remember any of them. Like all the people in that neighborhood, I was just like, what is going on? But
Yeah.
these people all feel extremely intentional. So give us the breakdown on what is going on with 17 and then we'll circle back.
Yeah, I mean, so right, like Right. We talked about this before, but Harry and Zara are falling for each other. They hooked up during Harry's night watch, and Harry ended up falling asleep.
Lord.
He had that good, and he fell asleep.
I'm like, bitch.
that post Cuddy pass out.
No, literally.
And so, Lauren has to reprimand them and get on their case. And Harry's like, so you lonely or what? and Lauren's
He's
like,
such an asshole. It's such
I
a hater.
know. She's like, listen, I'm not
you
gonna
just
act
want
like
some yourself. That's all. That's what's wrong with you. No, I'm trying not to die, you dummy.
literally. But they end up heading to this water fill-up station, and they help a couple who ends up getting their water stolen. And the couple kind of follows them for a while, but doesn't introduce himself, like stays close. I think the couple sees them as people that could potentially be good allies, but they are.
Well, Lauren
also
saved their water. That's another good point of Lauren rising to the occasion, right? She stopped the attackers.
Right. Which is like, Harry, I just want to, like, it's like, right. Lauren is not a ruthless, like, she's not a sociopath. Like, she just wants to survive. She doesn't want, she's like, it's very much do no harm, take no shit. Like, I'm not trying to like hurt anybody, but like, I'm not going to get hurt. Like,
I mean, here's the thing. I will say this real quick. I see both sides though.
Yeah.
To some degree, interfering in those situations may not be to your benefit. There were times where I was reading some of these situations and I was afraid it might be a trap. He also didn't have a gun. So I'm not, this one instance, I'm not that mad at Harry. I'm not as mad as Harry as you kind of came off. Like, I ain't got no gun.
May hates Harry.
No, I'm not gonna say anything, but I will say, he becomes very neutral for me.
Okay.
Whereas now I just think he's a little
spoilers.
bit, that's just me. No spoilers, but
he's just a small bitch, not like a huge bitch, just like a little.
Yeah, that's what I say, like a little
baby.
Like a little bitch.
He's just a little bitch right now that like wants to get it and wants to like, have his little like, I'm like, whatever, like we out here trying to survive, but like
whatever.
get what you need. I get it, but also don't fall asleep, bro.
Yeah,
like,
don't fall asleep.
I'm like, come on.
Well, okay, so but I mean, I think what I want, like, one of the things I wanted to say was like, right, Lauren is not a sociopath. Like, she just wants to like survive, and if she's not gonna start anything, but is like, don't start none, won't be none. Like, it's like, you leave me alone, you respect me, I can respect you. But anyway, she helps this couple. They stay close, but they don't introduce themselves. They all end up camping out on the beach, and
they made it to the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah,
which was like really like lively, or like was really great for them.
It sounds like it, yeah. But that the first night camping, there is a dog that gets too close. There's like this not new thing, but like, I don't know if this is new or not, but there's like just wild dogs all over the place. And on the beach, a dog gets too close while they're camped out on the beach, and Lauren ends up having to shoot and kill the dog.
It was attacking the baby.
Oh yeah, it did try to attack. I don't know if it was their baby, or
I don't know if
we
mentioned.
No, it was their
baby.
It was their baby.
No, it was. Yeah. This couple had a baby with them on top of.
Yeah.
When their water was getting snatched up. So
and I think it's important too to note that it was a Black man and a Hispanic woman, and that was a big reason why Lauren wanted to stay near them, because they knew how hard mixed couples at that time had it, and people would like want to kill them off or whatever, target them. So the fact that Lauren like just knew that they were there and almost like wanted to protect them, and like had an urge, like that's what I mean, what you said, like she's not a sociopath. She actually wants community, and she might see the resources that these people can. I
mean, she literally is an empath.
She saw herself in them too.
But so, she steps in and she helps them out again. And initially she like tried to introduce herself and say, like, she tried to invite them actually to like join their little crew. And they were like, why are you talking to us? Because they were scared, you know, like it's again, once
That would have
again,
been me. I'm like,
trust.
nah, son. I don't know you like
Yeah.
that.
Right. But it's interesting to me that like they gravitated towards her. So it was like this, like it almost reminds me of like how cats trust, where they like get a little bit closer. They don't touch me yet. They don't want you to touch them. But they like get a little bit closer. They get a little bit closer, but it very much has to be on their terms. And I think it was like the same thing with this family where they were like, we can see that you're like maybe being nice or showing kindness to us, but like what is your angle? And once she like saves their baby like and like steps in to support them a second time, they finally start to, I think, get a bit more comfortable, and they actually approach Lauren and Harry and Zara and introduce themselves. And yeah, Travis kind of like is accepting of Lauren's help, but I think there's like a bitterness about it too, because male fragility, and he's just like, I'm supposed to be taking care of my family.
Well,
yeah.
And they think Lauren is a man still right now until
true.
Harry comes out and says that she's not, and that was a big like issue, I think, because like I don't know if they wanted to admit that right away.
I don't know. I think I correct me if I'm wrong. Natividad?
Yeah.
I think she kind of came off like she kind of suspected that she wasn't a man.
Right.
And I think people just wasn't sure. I think it wasn't a like, I know definitively one way or the other. But
no, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah.
And the interesting thing to me in this world, I don't see how it matters. You know, when they say there's old people, there's kids, man, woman, blue, purple, jelly bean. Like, look, anything is a weapon. What?
Yeah,
you
totally.
know, like
I mean, literally blue and purple, because those are the painted people.
Right. Yeah. I'm just, and this one, I still think, I personally think that this entire transitional world, and I think it can be the real world, I think there's just a lot of, like you said, Melanie, male fragility, and people feeling like I'm failing, like I am not able to take care of my family. And that's just something that's hard to settle with. I don't think it's about Lauren per se. I think it's about Travis and just him feeling like he can't do this alone, and that is upsetting.
Not being used to that. Yeah.
And I mean, and then there's just some people like me who don't like to ask for help, who thinks they can do it all, who there's just a sense of pride. And so I think I think it's a combination of the lack of trust and the overwhelming amount of pride that this family had. And I think it all was led by Travis, because I think if it was up to her, she would have been like, let's get more people around, like something, because she does have a baby. If something happens to Travis and she's alone, wouldn't you rather have another group of like somebody else? You can't. I would not want to be alone with a baby. Yeah. So I know that there's a risk that something can happen to my partner. So
I feel like what you're kind of touching on, I feel like May kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but it feels like this idea of community and like this, like, yeah, I think like community and trust, and I think they go hand in hand. And there's a quote that like really kind of, well, I think this was one of the Earthseed verses at the beginning of the chapter that stood out to me. But it went, embrace diversity, unite or be divided, robbed, ruled, killed by those who see you as prey, embrace diversity or be destroyed. And I feel like it really ties into like this.
I love that one.
Yeah. Say more. Yeah.
No, you please. I mean, I can. Yeah, go ahead. No, you.
But yeah, I think that I think it just really kind of like ties in and like sums up a lot of what we've been talking about, of this idea of like, yeah, maybe like it the current circumstances require change. They require you to put your pride and ego to the side. They require you to like link up with people that like maybe you don't know that well. Maybe you like are even like hesitant to trust. Like they require you to trust, but they also require you to like be skeptical. Like but yeah, I think that like ultimately it like just really kind of speaks to like yeah, really having to put your pride to the side and like unite with people even if it challenges your ego or you know yeah, is something that you're not used to.
Yeah.
And this is the foundation of community. And I think chapter 18
Period.
is actually where, 17, the foundation for community is starting to be set. And then 18 is where it really kind of starts to bubble up a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's when Travis kind of gets converted into the first Earthseed like follower, which is really interesting to see. And I just had a point in terms of, was that chapter 18's quote, Mel? Do you know?
That
No,
one was in 17.
117. Yeah.
That was 17. Yeah. Yeah. I think it was just like a good. I that quote, like when I heard that quote, I had such deep peace when I heard that, because I think we all work in spaces to promote and grow diversity, and part of that is to help people see themselves in spaces that aren't diverse. And when we think about diversity, maybe like within our spaces we think of people, but a big thing that I like to talk about is just like to make people understand diversity is like think about a forest, and everything works together to grow, to thrive. Like it's not like, oh, we're segregating everything so that way, like, we're not celebrating diversity. It's like diversity just happens, it's part of life. And I think that as humans, we actually want that, but because of influences and because of power, because of all these things that might feel good in the moment and aren't actually sustainable, it gets clouded by the ego that we keep talking about. And I think that everyone in this group now, especially with Lauren sharing about Earthseed, is kind of understanding that they all need each other. And like for it to be a diverse group of people, even with the kid, I mean, it's showing them, even if they don't want a child, because the child could cry, the child could scream, like the child is a child that is learning how to be a human being. And you get to help shape that child and not just be like, well, I hate children, so this child should not be a part of our group. It's like, well, it's teaching us how to like, we need to make sure Natividad has like the space to like do what she needs to do with the kid, but also understand that we're surviving. But we're not just being like, oh, you have a kid, we're not taking you in, because that's what most people would do. Right? The kid is too much of a liability for anything to happen. And that's something that, as you keep reading, it's just like understanding how much, even though like they know that they need to survive, they still understand all these important concepts that our current society doesn't want to embrace. And even with change, you can still build a community that can build trust, disagree, have hard conversations, and still survive and move forward, knowing that they have to be aligned about the like one thing. And it's survival and having a life again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah.
Melanie, I'm gonna have you merge 18 and 19, and let's just jump into it, because to me, these chapters are just about the characters.
Yeah,
So
I think about the characters and also like you said, like about this is
development
like
of
the
this
foundation
community.
of
Yeah.
Earthseed. Like it's happening, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think she shared verses with Harry, she shared verses with Zara, she's, and initially like Harry like kind of is like sometimes sarcastic about Earthseed, like he's like, yeah, like God has changed. Amen, sister. Like he's just kind of
He's
being
such
a little
big brother, like annoying ass motherfucker.
So there's times when he's being sarcastic, but it never really feels like malicious. And I think he like is genuinely interested. And it like so he kind of like brings it up and Lauren shares some verses with Travis and Natividad. And it seems like it's resonating with them as well. Travis is asking a lot of questions and pushing back, and Zara and Natividad are debating certain ideas, but people are talking, like they're having conversations about it. They're engaged. And by the end of the chapter, Travis and Zara, Lauren thinks are her first converts. Zara's like, you can keep the whole outer space stuff. I'm not really with that, but like otherwise, we can do this on planet Earth. And yeah, I mean, there's also just like this fire or there's an earthquake. So kind of getting into chapter 19, there's like an earthquake and leads to a fire. People are scavenging, and Lauren's like, we're not going to rest. They normally take a rest day, and Lauren's like, we're not going to rest, we're going to get out of here. And so she leads the group away from the scavengers and the chaos, and that's where they meet this man named Benko.
Bancole.
Is that how we pronounce it? Oh, is that
Yeah.
how they say it in the? Because you're listening.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry, because I'm listening. That's why.
No, that's good.
That's good. Usually,
Yeah.
Melanie listens to books too.
Sometimes I do listen while I read, but I haven't done that.
Oh,
with
that's
this
smart.
one.
I can't listen. I'll get too distracted.
Interesting. Bancole, yes. So he is an older man who Lauren finds herself attracted to, and she's like,
about a year older than her daddy.
Yeah, she's like, this could be a problem. But yeah, and then kind of like they end up hearing so Bancole ends up kind of like, he doesn't officially join their group, but he's like traveling and keeping close to them. And while they're like journeying away from this earthquake, they hear the screams and cries of two women who could be luring them in, but it turns out that they are trapped under the rubble of a collapsed house. And they rescue these two women who are sisters, whose father kind of like basically prostituted them out. It's interesting to me. Okay, sorry. I'll finish and then I'll just like share some quick thoughts.
Yeah.
But so they rescue these women. Initially the two women are like kind of like turned off by the idea of Earthseed. They're like worried that it's a cult. But the women, Jill and Allison, do kind of like need protection. And in this current age, it's like, you gotta like, I don't know. It just feels like you got to like put your differences to the side. And so they end up deciding to join the group, and Bancole ends up joining as well. And that kind of more or less ends the chapter. But one thing that was interesting to me is just like Lauren's sense of like, her sense of, I don't know. I feel she has like an interesting like sense of intuition. Like it's like she knows when to help and when something feels right and when it's like, I don't trust this and I'm not gonna like, whatever. And I don't know. I think I really admire her discernment. Like it's like I feel like she has like
I just think she's lucky.
I mean, maybe she is.
I'm like, how many people they gonna pick up? But then I was like, oh, this is.
But she's trying to start a community.
They're just trying to start this Earthseed congregation. Because I was like, how many times I was waiting for Bancole to pull out a gun and rob.
No, me too, though.
Like, it's something because he can play the older man card, and I'm just moving my card. Like I
just booping.
I mean, honestly, like the couple, I didn't think were anything, but the amount of sketch that I was waiting on from that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, she look, I said it earlier, I think, or at least I wrote it down. She is smart. I think Zara is street smart, but Lauren is smart. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I have two thoughts that I would like wanted to chat about. Okay. So the first was like a quote. I don't know. Should I do them one at a time or like, okay.
Go for it. Whatever.
Okay. I'm just, whatever.
Let us know what you need.
Okay. But
what
like,
are you thinking?
one quote that stood out to me, and I think we've kind of touched on this throughout, so like maybe we don't need to spend too much time on it, but one quote that like stood out to me from chapter 18 was, God has changed. So Lauren's talking, I think, to Travis at this point, and just like sharing some of her ideas. And she says, God has changed, and in the end, God prevails. But there's hope in understanding the nature of God, not punishing or jealous, but infinitely malleable. There's comfort in realizing that everyone and everything yields to God. There's power in knowing that God can be focused, diverted, shaped by anyone at all. But there is no power in having strength and brains and yet waiting for God to fix things for you or take revenge for you. God will shape all of us every day of our lives. Best to understand that and return the effort. Shape God. And I don't know, that one like really resonated with me because I think like in the past, like when we've talked about this, Tiff and I have like almost kind of come to this conclusion that like what Earthseed is really saying is that in a way, like we are God. Like we are our own God. Like we're
part of it. We're all connected.
Right. Yeah. Like we are a part of the change that is happening. And as such, like we have the ability to influence change. And it's gonna happen whether we want it to or not, but we can be, yeah, we can be a part of it. We can be a part of that influence. Like, I don't know. So that one stood out to me. I like that one. I'm gonna get that whole thing tatted on my back.
Oh no.
Yeah. I also think that they're like realizing that there's more people out there like them that aren't just like, that might be like their community members from before. Everyone's scared, everyone's trying to survive, and like what makes them different from the core group, which is Lauren, Zara, and Harry. And inviting them and sharing like some hope, maybe not hope, but trust in not just surviving but actually being one together, I think is kind of cool. And bringing a little bit of like, it's bringing like almost like hope for mankind. It's giving hope for mankind.
Yes. I just had like one other thing that I was kind of curious about y'all's thoughts on, which was just, so like we mentioned Jill and Allison and how they're like Zara's like, hey, I like kind of like this, I'm into it, but like we're not doing the whole Mars thing, you can leave me out of that. Jill and Allison are like, we want community and we want support, but like I don't really, this all feels like a cult, so like I'm down as long as I don't have to join your cult. And it kind of calls to mind this idea of like, I saw this question on like a reading guide. I don't remember which one, but it was a public library reading guide. But one of the questions was just, how does the novel guide us in thinking about building networks, especially when others might not share beliefs with us? Must we all believe the same thing to build together? And I don't know. I just feel like this chapter and like this little Earthsea community that's forming, it is interesting how like the circumstances are really forcing people to like have to trust in one another and like build that community. And these are connections that otherwise might not have organically formed. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious, like, what are y'all's thoughts on that? Like, what does it mean to be in community with somebody who might share completely different, maybe not completely different values than you, but like, you know, the America's a burning dumpster fire.
Pushing back. I mean, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just like, what does it mean to be in community with somebody who maybe like voted for Trump and like you totally disagree with like a lot of their values, but like at the end of the day, we got. Like, what are those? I don't know. Does anybody understand what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah. I think what I was about to say kind of completely detracts from that.
Okay.
You know, it's one thing to put yourself into spaces where you may be uncomfortable, where it may feel foreign to you, which we know generally people don't like to do. It's like, I like jazz, so I'm going to go to the Blue Note and I'm going to listen to the jazz. Don't take me to the metal show or the EDM show or like that's one thing to kind of start to form relationships in other spaces that you may not fully have buy-in to.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, reading this book, I also watch a lot of sci-fi, futuristic stuff, such as like Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's giving a lot of
I
Walking Dead vibes.
Yeah, there's just too many people. It's getting too big. We gotta stop.
It's like
We gotta
5
stop.
people.
It's too
Wait, hold
many.
on.
No, it's more than five
Oh,
people.
there's
It's like
7 now.
hold on. No, you're right.
Or
Let me
8
count.
with the baby.
Oh yeah, true.
And
Babies are people too.
here's the thing. I still ended chapter 19 saying I don't trust Benkole. I think someone in this group is going to turn, whether it's stealing a gun, stealing some money, something. Is getting too big. The world is getting worse and the desperation is going to change. Now, you're making the point of like, if I'm going to have a Trumper up in my group and we're going to be just vibing because we all got to be out here and living. But I'm going to tell you right now, if ish hits the fan, who do you think the first person that Trumper is going to hit out of the group? They're going to hit my black ass. So like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think there's layers and there's nuance to, forming this community. I do also think it's a challenge because, again, I do think that, in my opinion, if I get it, you want to have people who can help you, right? Great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Lauren's methodology around Earthseed should be the root of letting this be a group. And I'm not saying that they all have to like believe every single word of it, just like you don't have to like live every word of the Bible to the T or dissect it in that way. But I do feel like having people who are kind of foot in, foot out is going to be a problem. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying, whether Earthseed aside, you just being here because you need something from me means that there's really not a organic community or relationship there. Like I would want to be in community with people who, at the very least, was like Travis, was curious about Earthseed.
Right.
I don't want people who are just like, well, y'all saved my life and helped me, so yeah, I'm gonna ride with y'all. No.
Yeah.
No, you get back under that building. Like, get the F out of here.
No, literally, I get that.
I am sorry, but that is
I
a
hear
full
that.
no for me. Like, that is so passive aggressive. Like, I ain't joining your coat, but I'll ride with y'all. Like,
But
no.
I mean, I guess I'll take some food if y'all end up getting some. Like,
can you imagine? No.
And not just like white bitches. I think like in the sense of like, they have been through a lot. It seems like from like what we know so far.
Yeah.
And they probably don't understand how to trust people's best intentions. Right. And I think now that they're no longer like, although it seems like, I should say, they had some kind of protection, even though that they were, they had to be prostitutes because of their father, but they had maybe some kind of like, they had something helping them out, and they had some kind of like shelter, home, whatever, even if it was broken. And then to be completely on their own, and them being like, well, we don't fully trust you, so like but then also being like, well, then fine, don't be like, then good luck, like I think I would have definitely been like, well, if you don't trust us, then that means like you're not going to be able to be here and do what we need to do to survive. But like if you're gonna take a chance on us, you gotta commit. So I think it's like commitment, of like committing to taking care of yourself and one another. And if you're not ready for that, then you can't be a part of Earthseed,
Yeah.
And I think I also felt the same about Bankole, Tiff. Like I still don't fully trust him. But I think, I am trying to understand where he's like, what his purpose is.
Yeah.
And I think Lauren is starting to feel some way because she lost her father. And she did have such, like, as much as like there were things that she didn't agree with her father, I think like not having that in her life, or having that disappear in her life and not knowing what happened to her dad. I think she's finding that in Bankole and doesn't want to let go of that. So I'm really curious what's going to happen later with different things.
And she is horny. I'm sorry. It's weird, but she's horny.
Yeah,
It's actually not weird. I mean,
it's not weird. I mean,
in the end of the world, I think we all want to get some. So, you know,
and that's like the issues. Like that could be like like a daddy issue of like, you know, just finding comfort in this person that and you know, they talked about like being like, they talked about similar things of like the 60s and like things of like what her dad would talk about, and like they bonded over things that were very similar to each other. So
but I actually think she wants Harry.
You think?
Yes.
Interesting.
And I wrote that down. I put that she wants Harry and Bankole. You know, because she bought the condoms
at the same damn time. She did. I forgot that she said that. I forgot.
I know she bought the condoms, and because also just like Bankole, her and Harry have, or you can start to see a bit of a like banter and connection between them two. Whereas I feel like his relationship with Zara is just physical. But I think he likes how Lauren challenges him. And they both can read, so they have this whole journaling thing. Like they have a very quiet connection, kind of like that friends to lovers type of thing, or even enemies to lovers type of thing, where they couldn't stand each other, but then you know Zara's gonna get killed, and then they're gonna fall in love. Like it just feels like something is like I know over crazy predictions.
That's a hot take, and I'm just like, wow.
And then Zara's gonna die.
Because I see it as like a sibling relationship more than a romantic one.
But that's how they start. That's how, when you're just friends with someone. Seriously, think about it. When the guy, you were a kid and he push you and punch you and just act like, you know, he didn't like you, and then it just and then the light just switches. Yeah. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe the writer ain't me, and they're not. So he's clearly an amazing person and wouldn't write craziness like this. But this is just my.
That's a good one.
That's just my translation and how I received the information.
Tiff be coming with the predictions.
I know they never come true. Never. I am the worst with the predictions, but that's fine. That's just how.
But I love that you keep making them. Like you're like, it is what it is. Like,
I love to write stories.
It's just like I'm just here gonna say it. They're gonna Harry and Lauren are gonna fall in love. I'm like, whoa! I did not even think about that.
They're gonna be in Canada together, building their homestead.
Wow.
They're gonna be raising Travis's child.
Because one of my questions was going to be because like I also like to pose predictions, and I was literally going to ask, are Lauren and Bankole going to be a thing? And I guess you answered that.
So I don't. I do think it is I do think it's she's trying to connect with her dad through this guy, and I think she misses her dad. I do think she's attracted to him, though. I'm not saying that she's not attracted to him, and I'm not saying that nothing's going to happen, but are they going to be a thing? No. Could they hook up? Yes. I guess I just don't want to see that. So I don't know, but that's all I got from that there.
Yeah. I just wanted to add real quick about the community piece and whether or not you can be in community with people that you don't like agree with. I think there's a difference between agreeing or like I think there's a difference between like, for me, I'm like, I just dropped a relationship with an aunt of mine that I was super close with because she was posting things that were anti-trans and anti-abortion. And this is someone who doesn't have trans people in her life, I don't even know if she knows anyone who's gotten an abortion or why. And this is someone who's so sweet and will take care of me no matter what, right? But then once I called her in about it and was like, hey, this is kind of fucked up that you're posting anti-trans things, and I know you voted for Trump, and I know that like you did all that. After I, she responded back very aggressively and just didn't want to hear, like didn't have anything to say what I said. She's just like, I respect everyone's opinions and I'm saying my opinion. And I think from that I said something else, and then she just never responded back to me, and that was like a moment of like, oh, you are no longer a community member of mine. You're no longer someone that I can have these hard conversations with, especially when I say like, I'm here in that original calling in saying, I'm here to have a conversation about it and like want to talk to you about this because I think that you're not understanding of like all these concepts, and it's very hurtful for me as your quote unquote niece to like see this and being trans and having a trans partner. And yeah, it just made me realize that, oh no, I actually don't have capacity to be around people who actually don't want to like understand why the situation we're in right now is so terrible.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, I just don't, in this situation, it's like, if you are someone who maybe thought about like even voting for Trump and being like, oh, I fucked up, it's like, yeah, you fucked up, but like, why did you think about it now? What happened to you? And I think if people don't go through things in their life, they're not going to relate, and maybe that's happening with this group of people. It's like things obviously have happened to them, even with Harry. Like when we talk about Harry, like Harry is now coming into a role of his understanding, right? Like he's actually getting it now and understands like why it's so important to back each other up. And that was really cool to see this like kind of change that's going on with Harry. And can that happen with everyone? Yes, but it's not going to be like Earthseed is not for everyone, and I don't know how long this group is actually going to last the way it is due to like not people not agreeing or people not seeing eye to eye. And you kind of eventually have to see eye to eye to be able to work together, or things are going to fall apart.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, for me, like I guess my 2 cents is that I agree with you, and I also feel like kind of like you said, it's something that can't really be black and white. Like I feel like the 2 factors that it depends on for me is like, how dire is the situation that we're in? Like what are the immediate threats? Cuz like, right, if you know, like if I were in a similar situation, like I could definitely say like on a day-to-day basis, like I don't really fuck with you, like I don't really like agree with your thoughts, I don't feel seen, like, and I just don't really have the space to like try to be supportive of somebody who like is so vehemently like against or so vehemently misunderstands like the impact of the current situation on my experience. But like, right, I imagine that if your aunt was in a burning fire, you would probably try to help her. Like,
100%.
Right,
totally.
right.
And that's, I mean, we talk about it with climbing or any outdoor activity, right? It's like, I don't fuck with you on an everyday basis, but God forbid I take a big fall or like something happens where like I need help. Like those same community members will definitely come in and assist, right?
Yeah.
But then they're going to base whatever after that, what kind of opinion are they going to be basing my experience and like, and then like, where does that come from? Like where, like, is ego of just like, oh, see, I helped. And like, I hope that's not the case for anyone that wants to help in a moment of crisis. Is like, no, I'm doing this because I'm a decent human being. And like, this happened to me, I would want the same thing. Right. I think that's what I mean is like people aren't going to see that and experience that until it happens to them. And then they're going to be like, oh, I understand now. And want to be more involved in a different way or change their mindset on, you know, there's fucking racist ass people out there that don't even want help from another black person until the black person saves their fucking life. You would hope that they're like, oh my God, it's not about me hating black people. It's about me just like not having whatever experience you had. And then unfortunately, some people that get that help from someone that they don't like will still have a problem and will still hate that person or that kind of person because of their own bias. And I don't think people can survive if in that case, you know. I don't think you can survive a life of
when we're only helping because it benefits us or when it like starts to benefit us.
Oh yeah.
No, that's real. Like that is real and that is so scary and unfortunate. And I hope that like, you know, I don't know. I hope that it doesn't, because I hear you and I think that there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. And it's also like, man, like we definitely aren't gonna last if like it requires that kind of experience for us to like empathize with one another. So I don't know. I hear you and I think you're right, but
we see it. No, we see it though, Mel. We see it in society so much. And I think like, you know, I have unfortunately, I have family members again who voted for Trump the second time or people in Hispanic communities. And now they're like, oh, we're in this situation where so-and-so doesn't have papers and, you know, now we're dealing with this crisis. And it's like, well, you literally voted for this. So what the fuck did you think was going to happen?
Right.
Oh, now that your niece or now that your brother or whoever is getting deported or isn't a threat of getting deported, now you give a shit? Now you're like thinking about that? Is like, okay, folks, like we're really deep into the society and thinking things very nuclear like to not even understand how it can affect us and to think that this could never happen to us. It's like genocide. I don't know if I can talk about this here, but like when people think about that, like that's what's happening. And like it's happening in a lot of different places and it's all connected. And for us to just think that this could not happen to us, it's already happening. You know, it's happening to.
I mean, I think that's why the book is so scary for people.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful to have this conversation with y'all because I literally was trying to talk about what's going on with a friend. And she was like, actually, I was like, oh, are you doing okay? And she's like, actually, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And I don't want to read Parable of the Sower because it's like too relatable. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing then? Why are we not talking about this? Because we should be talking about this. We should be talking about the things that could happen to us, even with our privileges, and more so with our privileges.
Because no one is ready, so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
Period. Wow. Anyway, so sorry.
No, that's real though. That's real. I don't know. I'll just
real.
Yeah, it is real. I don't know. The one final thought to sum it up is like this poem. Well, I'm sure we've all heard it, but the like first they came for, you know, so and so, and I didn't speak up, and then they came for so and so, and it's like I feel like I don't. Let me see. It is a poem called First They Came For by Pastor Martin Niemöller. I definitely pronounced that wrong. But anyways, I'm sure we're all familiar, or if not, search it. It will probably be familiar. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. There's so much. I wish we could talk about this forever. Because I feel like I have so many more thoughts. But so first they came for the communists and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak out for me. And so, yeah, I hope that like we don't have to kind of like learn this from experience. My dad used to say, it take a fool to learn. What did he say? Only a fool will want to learn everything from experience. But I'm hoping that like that yeah, we don't have to like experience that, and that, I mean, I think this book does provide some wisdom, and if we can like heed kind of like, the warning signs, the writing on the wall, and heed books like this that offer us wisdom, then hopefully we can kind of avoid those things. But yeah, you know, I guess,
Well, that's interesting. That poem's interesting to what we just spoke about, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, totally. So yeah, I don't know. There's so much more, and yeah, I think this is definitely a conversation that like we will have to continue. But I think there's a lot here to talk about, and I'd be curious. I don't know, for folks who are listening, please tap in, because yeah, I'm curious. Like I feel like we posed a lot of good questions and had some interesting conversation, and I would
And on
love to
that note,
continue
just
it
a reminder,
offline.
we did create a Facebook group where you can converse. We may or may not create a Discord, but if we want to have these conversations and we want to be more interactive, we know we can't necessarily do that through the reviews, which feel free to leave a review. I've never been one of those people who wanted to ask anybody to do that. So, but we would like to get to the space. So definitely click on the join the club link in our show notes, that adds you to our email list so that when we do have events, we can try to, whether they're virtual or in person, we can try to like have these conversations about these books and continue these themes and conversations. And again, just be there for each other in the sense of improving our mental health. And that is really why we're here. So,
Cool.
beautiful.
Well, yeah, love that. Thanks again for listening. Again, like please feel free to like continue the conversation offline. I feel like there's so much there, and I'm really excited to hear what folks are thinking. And yeah, I guess we will be finishing the book.
oh yeah, it's over.
Reading chapter 20 through 25, I think is the
Yep.
last chapter. So yeah, please tap in, get those last chapters in, because we're super stoked to talk to y'all about it next week and share our final thoughts.
Yep. And follow us on Instagram. And thank you, May, for joining us. We
Yay!
Thanks for
appreciate it.
having me.
Is there
Thanks for
anything else
listening.
you want to shout out before we get up out of here? How people can connect with you, the work you do?
Yeah, my Instagram is Hey It's May J. Focusing on some personal projects. But you should definitely follow Rise Outside Collective on Instagram. We are always accepting donations for low cost and free programs for organizations and individuals who are looking to break barriers into accessing the outdoors, especially underrepresented identities. So feel free to go on our website and sign up for a newsletter. And we're looking for excited people to join our board who are also able to be part of a working board, now that everyone is volunteering time. So, yeah, just look out for what's next in general. And take care of your people, and
Yes.
have hard conversations, have a plan, and understand that, to Tiff's point, I think that was so beautiful, of just like it's okay for things to just be really simple, and it doesn't all have to be complicated and big, and just enjoy being present. I think that's what I got from that.
Awesome. And yeah, we'll make sure all this information is in the show notes. So definitely check in. But we'll be back with y'all same bat time next week. As always, we appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Words in the Wild, an adventure and wellness podcast produced by First Outdoor Company. Subscribe now and be sure to follow us on social media at Words in the Wild Pod.